Yo, what else? Welcome back to Reviews with Jake, where I just got done watching Old. Old is the latest M. Night Shyamalan film in which a family visits a beach looking for leisure and instead gets terror. They begin to notice that all of them are aging at a very rapid rate and they have to discover what's going on before they all rot away. M. Night Shyamalan, we meet again. Man, this is a tale as old as time. I wish I could honestly tell you that that's the last old pun I'm going to make in this review, but what can I say? My sense of humor? That of an old man. Anyway, I've seen this movie before with M. Night Shyamalan. They show me a trailer. The concept looks amazing. I see the movie, he usually gives us 2 solid acts of soaking in that awesome premise, and we enjoy it. And then the third act rolls around and he somehow finds a way to make that awesome thing so damn stupid. Spoiler alert for 10 seconds of old M. Night Shyamalan films, because I feel like I need to prove a point here. Signs: aliens leaving crop circles to prepare for attack on Earth. But their most glaring weakness is water, and they are targeting a planet largely covered by it. The Village, a small village, is haunted by nightmare-fueled creatures that live in the woods. But turns out those monsters, just people running around in monster suits, like f***ing Scooby-Doo. The Happening, people all over Earth randomly committing suicide in the most horrific ways. But the reason? Plants. And now we realize we just have a movie where Mark Wahlberg is running away from the wind. It almost never fails, so naturally when I saw the trailer for this movie, I'm like, ooh, looks interesting. But then I have to second guess myself and be like, Jake, M. Night Shyamalan, be careful. Don't let him hurt you again. Still, it's hard for me to not get giddy over a movie that looks like it has some promise. That's why I was happy to wake up at 9 a.m. to check this movie out on a weekend where I was jam-packed busy. Yeah, I guess 9 a.m. showings happen at movie theaters. I'm just as surprised as you are. I like to think that my local theater opened up a 9 a.m. showing of a movie called Old just for a chuckle, and I appreciate them for that. Support your movie theater, because they're here for you in more ways than you know. Well, the pros start with the direction, because M. Night Shyamalan does direct pretty damn well. I think generally speaking, his writing is the thing that really needs to be put into question, but his direction, I think it's always upper tier stuff from where I'm sitting. Whether it's manufacturing amazing cinematography, executing some very long runners with a lot of moving parts, or the effective use of strategic vantage points while dealing with certain ailments. Some are more obvious touches, like dealing with blurs when someone's losing their vision, playing with sound design when they're losing their hearing, or more subtle touches when you're dealing with someone that has dementia. It always felt like he had the right filmmaking technique to deal with each of the varying situations that this movie addresses. Some of these situations were downright grotesque, which led to some great body horror and fantastic makeup and prosthetics. I mean, for a PG-13 film, I feel like it pushed the envelope pretty damn effectively. It had some real stomach-punching moments. And even ignoring the horror elements, just the makeup in general, showing our characters aging rapidly throughout the course of the movie. Things as subtle as slowly adding wrinkles to someone's face. It's that attention to detail that you just can't help but appreciate. Obviously, the amazing makeup can only go so far, especially with the kids who start off as little children at the beginning of the movie and age throughout the course of the film. You need to have actors that portray that age change. So they naturally had to have a few mid-movie recasts for certain characters, and I thought that it was handled really well. Not only did they look like the previous actor or actress that played that character, but they also had to act, because while the character is aging physically, their personality still remains that of a little kid. I feel like it had to be the mother of all unique acting challenges, and outside of a few minor little missteps, a few little cracks in the mirror, I thought they did a pretty damn good job. Well enough to actually give us a single really heartfelt scene, which I honestly was not expecting to get. I'll get to why here in a second, but I just want to take a minute to appreciate the fact that they did break through emotionally, even if it was just for a single scene. Appreciated. However, it was an isolated incident because the rest of the movie and plot, not so much, and that leads us to the cons. The biggest and most glaring weakness that this movie had was the writing and dialogue. The way that people talk in this movie was ludicrous. Originally, I was going to pin it on the acting, but I eventually realized that this was an on-paper problem. Even from the very first scene, I knew that this was going to be an issue, and it just got worse and worse and worse as the movie went on. It was all either bleeding exposition, unnatural commentary or reactions to certain situations, unnecessarily repetitive, or sometimes just being too obvious and on the nose. I think a lot of this stems off the fact that they try to jam way too much into this movie. Lots of characters, lots of relationships, lots of backstories, lots of rules to the phenomenon that they are pinned up against. There's just a lot of content to effectively cover over what's just shy of 2 hours. As a result, our characters just blurt out lines that feel so random and unnatural. It's just pure exposition or just giving us little cliff notes here and there to make sure us, the audience, are keeping up with their rapid pace. As a result of this manic pace, the film feels like it has a little bit of next scene syndrome. I get that it was probably necessary to tackle it this way with the amount of content they wanted to cover in 2 hours, but maybe solve that issue by thinning out some of the characters' situations and relationships. There are entire characters and subplots that I feel like you could cleanly cut out of this movie to let the other stuff breathe a little bit more. I think it really could have benefited the film because in its current state, the film feels super convoluted. It kind of falls into a weird purgatory space. I feel like it could have went either of two ways to work a little bit more effectively. One was to strip the plot down to the essentials and make just a nice clean little short film or an episode of The Twilight Zone or something. Or if you absolutely need all this content, all of these moving parts, make it like a mini series or something so you can let all of the individual pieces breathe a little bit more than they are here in a 2-hour runtime. Trying to do all of this in an emotionally satisfying and effective way in just shy of 2 hours is really tough. That's why the film feels so rushed and messy. Finally, from a technical and rather nitpicky perspective, whenever they try and ramp up the RPMs with some action or an intense moment, I don't feel like it was helmed very well. Which frankly isn't anything new to M. Night Shyamalan, because I've noted in the past that he just does not know how to make an effective action sequence. A common thread that I've noticed with a lot of hand-to-hand combat in his films, he loves to cut to the first-person perspective. The last fight scene with the alien in Signs, the battle between Bruce Willis and James McAvoy in Glass, and then in this movie, I feel like it's never as effective as he thinks it is to go to these perspectives. I mean, you're watching it, you know that there's high-stakes stuff happening, you should be at the edge of your seat, and you're just kind of watching like, meh, just stick to horror and occasionally a twist or two, dude. Action, I guess, isn't your thing. Speaking of the M. Night Shyamalan twist, the grand reveal in this movie, I'm obviously not going to spoil or expose it. In terms of what I thought about it in general, speaking very vague, it was fine. Did it completely blow me away or pull the ground out from beneath my feet? No, but did it ruin a surefire concept, something he's done with his twists in the past? No. It lands somewhere in the middle there. I thought that it tied up the film all right. Not great, just fine. In fact, that's really what I could say about this movie in general. All in all, this is definitely not the best M. Night Shyamalan movie, but it's far from the worst. I think it's worth a watch, but certainly no rush in doing so. I was gonna make another old joke there, but I refrained. Wow, I feel younger already. I'm going to give Old a C+. But that's just me. What do you guys think? Let me know if you agree or disagree in the comments below. And make sure to subscribe to this channel to stay up to date with new reviews coming real soon. Stay safe. Thanks for checking in.